I met up with Allison and we went to her Calc 5 class, and I was very overwhelmed at first. I was scared because I didn't know what to think. It was a very hard class, mostly for juniors and seniors, and she's only a sophomore. But with it being a very difficult class, she explained to me that it was super important to be smart and above the game. She said that all of her family has graduated on time, and she didn't want to be behind. So she was very on top of the game. She's taking classes that are really hard and most sophomores don't take. But when I was sitting in the lecture with her, I was obviously overwhelmed at first because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how she was going to deal with the lectures, but she was very into it. She constantly took notes. She was very, she paid attention to the professor and wrote down almost every single word he said. She was very focused, and I took note of that because I really think it's interesting how much she cares about what she's doing. She knows exactly how the professor talks already, so she knew what points to write down. For me, I go into the class and when I hear some terms, I write them down. But no, she was already organized before she came to class, and she organized everything in such a perfect manner that she knew exactly what she was doing. And after class, we talked a little bit more about culture, and Allison told me that math was a very important subject to her because she needed to be as high up as possible, because in the medical field you need math. And she said that growing up it wasn't about reading, it was about mathematics. And when she was growing up, she told me that she would sit at the table every night and do math. She wouldn't read. When I was little, I would sit at the table and read and learn how to write my name and try and put together the words and make a story out of it. My mom would read me children's books every night, and I would try and read them back to her. But no, Allison said that she sat at the table every night and did math. Her parents forced math on her early because they thought that schools didn't enforce math enough, they enforced reading. And so they left reading for the schools to teach, and they taught her math at a very young age. And her mom and dad said it was very important for her to know math because she would need it in her future. But my parents didn't know what I was going to do in my future. They didn't know if I would attend college. They didn't know if I would be smart. So they just did basics. But Allison, her parents knew exactly what she was going to be. Her major was forced upon her. She really didn't have an option. She said another thing in her culture, they are basically the same, they're in the same field throughout their entire family. So most of their family they're all medical. Most of them are doctors. So Allison's major was basically forced upon her. She had to be a doctor. So her parents knew what her major was going to be before she even went into high school. And now she's above the game because she has taken classes early because she's never had to change her major. She's been focused, on top of the game, graduated high school early to come to college, to start early so that way she can graduate on time to college. She said that she said there's positives and negatives to her parents picking her major. She wishes that they would have left it open for her to know, but on the other hand, she said it would have been cool to pick her major and do something that she really wants to do, but on the other hand, she said that knowing what she was going to do and knowing exactly what her major was going to be helped her so much, because she's so ahead of the game. She's on top of it. That's all she's ever learned about was medical. She has people in her family, mostly everybody, to ask questions if she needs, and she's super on top of the game. And she said that with them choosing her major, she's prepared a lot for it, and without that, she probably would have no idea. And so she said there's positives and negatives, but in my family, my major didn't have to be chosen. I am wanting to be a special ed teacher because I grew up with kids in my family who have special needs, and that's just everything that I've ever learned, and I have a heart for it. So I want to do that in my future, and she didn't even know she wanted to do that in her future. But so we talked about that, and then after, we stayed and talked for about 25 minutes after the lecture, and then I remembered this time that she greets and says bye, with a hug. So I remembered to give her a hug instead of a firm handshake, and then that was it.